The images of those 12 destroyed homes are, of course, just shocking and leave so many people wondering, if this happened to my home, what would happen? Would insurance even cover it?
And for that, we are turning to our consumer investigator on your side's Kristine Lazar. And this is another one of those cases where you hope your insurance company will come through for you.
Yeah, you know, this is something that I was thinking about last night, and I was really hoping I would get a different answer from experts, because I kind of knew in my gut and from what I've covered that the news is not good. And what we're hearing from experts just reaffirm that. The short answer is these homeowners are likely out of luck. Most insurance policies won't cover damage caused by landslides. The slide happened late Saturday night, forcing those 12 homes to evacuate. And as that fire captain mentioned, they only had 20 minutes to do so. So it's really unlikely residents were able to save much. And fire officials believe even more homes may still be at risk. I spoke with an insurance attorney to see whether their homeowners insurance will provide any coverage for these people.
There's a very high likelihood here that there won't be some source of compensation or recovery for this, because what most people don't realize is that homeowners insurance policies throughout the country, but especially in California, don't cover what's called earth movement, things like exactly what's happening here, which is a landslide. If there's an argument that the HOA knew of this or should have known of this that there was a real possibility of this happening, and they could and should have done something to prevent it, there's an argument that the HOA is responsible. I mean, but that's also very difficult to establish in this situation, I think.
Now, there may be a way for these homeowners to go after an entity if they contributed to that slide. An example would be if the city had a water main break that could be tied to this earth movement, or if the recent rains contributed to it. But in the case of the rain, that would only be covered if the homeowners had supplemental flood insurance, which many here in California do not have. And going after someone for this would likely take years. And one's homeowner insurance likely isn't going to cover the contents of one's home either, or pay for their temporary lodging. So you can only imagine, you have a mortgage on this, it's not going to pay, your insurance isn't going to pay for you to go move somewhere, they're not going to pay for all the furniture and clothing and electronics that were destroyed. I mean, it is just an absolute nightmare. So the best advice I can give someone living on a hillside looking at this saying, oh my gosh, what if this happened to me? Call your insurance broker and say, look, these are my concerns. I'm looking at what's happening in Rolling Hills Estates. How can I cover my home to the best of our ability? Because these insurance agents, they're not required by law to tell you what you need. They're required to give you what you ask for. So that's what you need to do. I also want to point out, if we do see a state of emergency in this area, that could help with getting public funds to help rebuild, you know, low interest loans. But again, no one's handing out free money. So it is, I mean, absolute nightmare. I can only imagine what these people are going through. And unfortunately, unlike a fire, you don't have that insurance coverage.
And the more I hear about this reporting, the more I'm wondering why we're paying for insurance. It doesn't cover so much.
Well, there are so many exclusions. And also,
yeah,
if this were due to an earthquake, if you didn't have earthquake insurance, that also wouldn't be covered. Typically, the earth movement that we think about is earthquakes, but then we also have these landslides. So another good tip, make sure your policy is going to cover what it would cost to build your house from the ground up. You know, a lot of us got our insurance policies before COVID, when things were much cheaper. Now it can be up to 2 times what you thought it would be to replace your home. So wow, it's literally a nightmare. I wish I had better news, but the best thing we can say is look at this and prevent it from happening to you. Yeah.
This is really great information, Kristine. Thank you so much.